Welcome to Le Grand Voyage with Chateau Malbec La Gravière. It's a curious, ironic symmetry that the dish saltimbocca goes well with Malbec. Turns out it's not just a gastronomic pairing, it's a linguistic one too. Saltimbocca gets its name from the Italian salti in bocca. It jumps in the mouth. It's a delightful mental evocation of the joy of eating the dish. Malbec has a similar root, although rather less joyful. Malbec, mal in boc, bad or even evil in the mouth. For many years, Malbec was not prized for its effect on the palate as much as the palette. A terrible wine joke there. It wasn't something that you added into a Bordeaux blend for the taste and aroma. It was because of the way it added its colour. It's a dark, inky variety. In a vintage where other varieties might have struggled to thicken and deepen their skins and colour, Malbec can be relied on to add a staining, rich, ruby red tint. Not too much, mind you. In the past, it was sometimes seen as Merlot's rather rustic, unreliable cousin. It's prone to various vineyard diseases, and these can leave its vines rather short on fruit. And in the cooler vineyards of Bordeaux, it often had a clunky character, a country bumpkin impression of its silky, fruity, more urbane cousin Merlot. In fact, after the Great Frost of 1956, a large amount of Malbec was replanted, to Merlot mostly. And things went from bad to worse. In the last 30 years of the 20th century, 4/5 of all the remaining Malbec in Bordeaux was lost. Its future looked bleak in the region, its spiritual home. Yet, at the same time, several thousand miles away, Malbec was finding a new lease of life. In the 19th century, winemakers heading to South America took Malbec cuttings along with Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Cabernet Franc, Carmenere and Petit Verdot, intent on recreating the prized wines of Europe for the aristocrats and emerging wealthy middle classes in Chile and then Argentina. But the vine's home couldn't have been further from Bordeaux. Where Bordeaux is at sea level in Argentina, the vines were up to a mile high. Where Bordeaux is next to the sea in Argentina, they were next to one of the world's tallest mountain ranges. Where vines in Bordeaux were planted on land that used to be a marsh, in Argentina they were planted on land that was very much still a desert. And something curious happened. Maybe it was the clones that travelled with the winemakers, maybe it's the altitude, maybe it's the increased ultraviolet light, maybe it's the warm desert days or the icy desert nights. We're still learning. But what was rustic became luxuriant. What had lacked fruit suddenly filled out with fleshy berry ripeness. Although curiously, some winemakers didn't realise what a treat Malbec had become. Many of the vines were pulled up as winemakers sought to plant more fashionable Cabernet Sauvignon. But not all. Far-sighted winemakers realised that between the clear sky and the desert floor, there was something special in Malbec. And they were soon joined by Bordeaux winemakers, like the Bonny family at Chateau Malbec La Gravière, who came to plant vineyards and explore what could be done with Malbec in this very different region. And some of that enthusiasm for Malbec has come back with them. Planting of Malbec has increased again in Bordeaux. Winemakers are experimenting with what it can add to a blend. Looking to it not just for its colour, which is still impressive, but for some of the flavours and aromas that were revealed in those very different vineyards in Argentina. But all travellers come back changed by their experience, and Malbec is no different. In France, its name is pronounced as it always has been, Malbec. The emphasis sits on that first syllable. But in South America, it's gone local. It's sort of settled in with an altogether more Latin feel. When you try it in Argentina or Chile, remember, it's called Malbec. Join us again tomorrow for another story from Le Grand Voyage and Chateau Malbec La Gravière.